Hello. Okay, so we are trying Unbreakable Voices, episode 2, take 2. Yesterday we had the lovely Emma on, but for some reason when we tried to upload the live, it didn't load the whole thing. It was half an hour and it only loaded 15 minutes. So we are trying again to do the episode, and hopefully Emma will be joining in a minute. Just waiting for her to join, and then we can begin the interview again. So that's the thing with technology. I think when it works, it really works. When it doesn't, it's a pain in the bum. But yeah, I'm just waiting for Emma to just join. And let me see if I can add her. 2 seconds, everybody. I don't know what that was. What was that? This. Oh, I hate technology. Okay, so Emma's joined. So Emma, if you want to click on the, I think it's the thing at the bottom. Yeah, if you click on the two, like the two figures at the bottom, click on that, and then I should be able to then add you on. Nothing's coming up. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Send a request. Here we go. Go live. Okay. I think we are getting it working. 2 seconds. Oh no, it says you're not unable to join. Oh, bloody hell. Let me try again. Accept. Go live. Please work. Please work. Yay! Success! Oh my god.
All this technology.
It's so hard.
It is.
Oh my gosh. But it's practice. It's practice. At least now we know like what to do. Okay, so for anybody who didn't watch last night, Emma and I last night we went live, but unfortunately the live didn't. I don't know. It didn't save all of it, or it only uploaded. Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? It only uploaded like 15 minutes, and we did half an hour.
Yeah.
So Emma has kindly said she's able to do it again. So here we go again. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Sharon. I am the Cancer Mum cheerleader. I was diagnosed with cancer 4 years ago, and since then it's completely changed my life, and now I'm trying to raise awareness for all the other cancers that are out there. And so that's why I brought out Unbreakable Voices, and I'm giving a platform to other mums who have gone through cancer or going through cancer, and we're just trying to raise awareness together. So I have the lovely Emma here. So Emma, God, it's like deja vu. So tell me about yourself and what life looked like before your cancer diagnosis.
Before I had cancer, I guess it was just a normal life. I worked, I was a personal assistant for stroke survivors. I drove, I looked after the kid, the house, the money, everything to do with the house. I was completely, fully able-bodied and active.
Yeah, completely, just normal life, normal
Yeah,
mum life.
yeah.
Yeah. And so how did you find out about your cancer?
On my daughter's 5th birthday, we went out for a meal and it was a bit more spicy than I was used to. So I thought it was that. The day after, when I didn't quite feel right, I went to work, I took the kids to school, did everything I should have done. And then about 6:30 that night, I was still feeling a bit like my eye was stretched. I felt a bit sicky dizzy. And then by 7:30, I just thought, no, something's not right. I need to go to A&E. So I sat in A&E for about 6 hours, and they sent me an eye doctor to say I have an eye removed. I don't know what they're called. You know, the ones that ophthalmologist.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called.
Yeah. So anyway, they sent me one, and he looked at me. He did all his tests, and then I could hear him. He went up to the nurse and said she needs an MRI scan now. And there was a bit of an argument with the nurse because the nurse said we don't have any available. So they ended up sending me home, and I think I slept for about 3 hours. I didn't feel anything when I woke up. I didn't feel sick, didn't feel dizzy, didn't feel like my eye was stretched. I just felt normal. And I went back to see them, and then I saw this doctor again, and he kicked up a fuss with a few people and says she needs an MRI scan now. So they couldn't do one at that hospital, but the nearest hospital they could get me one, I said that I'd go to that. And that's how they kind of found out I had a big tumour behind my eye growing off my optic nerve.
I mean, thank God that that doctor made such a fuss and
Yeah.
was like, you need that MRI.
Yeah, he looked at my pictures because I was excited. I had an iPhone. It was a big thing then. And my son had got an iPad for his 3rd birthday, so I knew there was loads of pictures of me. Anyway, he was looking, and he was looking through the iCloud, looking at pictures of me, and then he gave me my phone back and said, "Do you have any older pictures?" And that's when I thought, oh, there's something wrong. And he thinks that he can see it because it was popping my out, even though I was looking in the mirror every day. I didn't notice it. But he said he can notice it on pictures till I'm about 15.
That's crazy. Because I remember I asked you last night, like, was your eyesight affected, or you know, had you had any opticians seen anything, and you said like they hadn't.
No. They think that I had a bleed that day, and that was why I kind of felt funny. But apart from that, I'd never had symptoms.
And that's the thing as well. I think sometimes with a lot of cancers, like my cancer, I didn't have any symptoms, and I think people just assume then that if you don't have any symptoms, then you know everything's okay, and it's like, well, it's
Yeah,
not always the case, and that's why if anything is untoward, like you need to know your body,
yeah,
because
yeah.
any slight difference, you need to definitely get it checked out. So, what type of cancer was you diagnosed with?
I was diagnosed with mesenchymal choroidosarcoma.
It is such a mouthful.
It is. In fact, when the doctor told me, he had to read it off a piece of paper.
Oh wow! So it was hard for him as well.
Yeah, because it was something he'd never heard of before,
Mm.
because it was so rare.
And so, describe the exact moment you heard the words. Well, you didn't hear the words, but yeah, describe the exact moment and sort of what was going through your mind.
Okay, so he said to me, "You've got mesenchymal choroidosarcoma." So in my head, I sat back and thought, "Whoa, thank God it's not cancer. I'll go get the kids. I need to get something for tea. I need some diesel. I could go back to work tomorrow." And all this time, the doctor had obviously seen that I had no reaction. And he was like, "You do realise sarcoma means cancer?" And my world just fell apart from then. Because I thought to myself, I can't have cancer. I've got children. I'm working. I'm halfway through my life. I can't have cancer now. And then it was the double whammy that I knew if it was cancer, the eye would need to be removed.
Yeah,
So
so you already got this bombshell comes
Yeah,
to you that you've got cancer, and now you've got another bombshell on top of it. I mean, dealing with you've got cancer is bad enough. Like, I know how I felt, but to then have, now you've got to have your eye removed as well.
yeah.
Like, I can't imagine like the trauma that must have been going on in your head.
I think I was mainly just worried about the kids and
Mm,
if it'd be hereditary. But I asked the doctor if it was hereditary, and he said that it was so rare, the chances are I wouldn't have got it anyway. So the kids won't be affected by it because it can't be hereditary. Otherwise, someone in my family would have had it.
mm, yeah, and I suppose it gives you that peace of mind.
It does.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how did you cope with telling your friends and family?
Well, I didn't actually tell them, not by in person like a phone call. I text most of them because I just couldn't say it out loud.
Mm,
It was so surreal. Like a lot of my friends, even my family, you know, no one around us had cancer. All my friends were working, they were all the same age, they had children.
mm,
No one else was affected by cancer. And I just couldn't tell them. And I think it was hard because my mum and my best friend knew that if anything happened to me, they would have to look after the children.
mm. Yeah,
Because my ex wasn't in the picture. He's still not in the picture.
no,
However, I did worry. I think that was my biggest worry because even though he's not in the picture now, if I died, I know for a fact that he would want the children. Not
yeah,
so much because he wants to see his own children, but because of the money they would inherit.
mm, yeah, and that's not something like you're going through enough as it is. You don't
Yeah,
need
you
all
don't
these
want to
extra
think about
stresses.
things like that.
No, no, not at all. So, for somebody who has just been diagnosed, then what advice would you give them in terms of telling their family?
I would say, if you can't physically say the words, maybe you could either send a message like to everyone, like a long message, copy and paste it to everyone,
Mm,
or I mean, technology is good now, so you can send a video message, and tell them that you're not ready to talk about it. You've been
yeah,
diagnosed, but right now you just need some space. And
yeah,
I think that's the only way you can go about it. Or you get someone very close to you that can tell them all for you.
mm, yeah. That's what I did with my
Yeah,
husband. I I couldn't tell. I was going through. It was through COVID time when I was diagnosed, and so we couldn't see my brother and my mum, and we did a video call, but I just couldn't get the words out. So then he told them for me. But it's so surreal. Like you hear about everybody else having cancer, and you never think it's going to happen to you. It's like
no.
any sort of like health thing, you never think it's going to happen to you. Okay, so did you feel you had to stay strong for others?
Yes, I I definitely feel like I had to stay strong for everyone.
And
And it's
how
it's
did that
hard
impact
because
you? Yeah.
everyone around me was gutted that I was losing my eye and like,
Mm,
oh, it's awful and this, that, and the other. But then, I was the one going through it. And,
mm,
I had to kind of show them all that even though I'm going through it, I still need to be strong,
mm,
you know. And then I must admit, sometimes I thought, well, you know what? Thank God it's me. Because,
mm,
if it was any of my friends, one, I'd never hear the end of it, and two, they really would have fell apart.
mm, mm. Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's the thing. I
yeah,
think we touched on this yesterday, and it was like if you have a positive mindset, I think it definitely helps. If
definitely.
you crumble and feel defeated straight
Yeah,
away, you need to have that fighting spirit. Like with any cancer,
yeah,
you have to fight it. So you got to stay positive,
yeah.
especially when
I
you've got
think
kids.
I think now I've been through it, and I did it with such positivity
Mm.
that kind of got me through the hard times. And it's
Yeah.
now that I can sit back and think, wow,
Mm.
I had cancer.
Mm.
It's very surreal.
Yeah.
Even though I've been through it, sometimes I can just sit down and realize, oh, I've been through cancer. I've had actual cancer.
Yeah. Do you forget sometimes? I sometimes
Yeah,
forget. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
And believe
weird.
it or not, sometimes I forget that I've had my eye removed. And yeah,
Really?
I go out sometimes and I think people are staring at me too much. And then I think, I've not got my eye covered.
Oh, oh my gosh. Do you cover your eye then when you go out?
Sometimes I cover my eye, sometimes I don't.
Hmm.
If I'm out, because people stare at me all the time, if
Hmm.
I'm out and people are constantly staring at me and I need to just get something done, you know, like you want to go to
Yeah.
the shop, get bread, milk, done, out.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like that when you've got one eye. Everyone wants to stop and talk to you and find out what has happened and things. So
Yeah.
sometimes when I just want to get in, out and done, I will cover my eye.
Hmm.
Not because I'm ashamed of it, but
Hmm.
because I kind of want to just stop other people's curiosity.
Yeah. I mean, people are nosy, aren't they? So, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, you're a mum, and everyone's experience when it comes to telling children about cancer is very different. So, what were your thoughts, and did you tell your children?
I told my children, I told my oldest, obviously, that it was cancer, because at this point I was told that it could be, you know, end of life, kind of
Mm.
terminal. So I told my oldest, but my daughter was too young. So I just said my eye was poorly because obviously I was having the eye removed.
Mm.
If it was something that wasn't, you couldn't physically see it, I don't think I would have told them.
Mm.
I know quite a few people that haven't told them, you know, they've had cancer and it's not something that they can see, so they don't mention it.
Mm.
And I do think that is nicer for children.
Mm.
With all the stresses that they're going through, the thought of then losing a parent, it can knock everything else off.
Yeah. So, does your youngest knows now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she knows now.
How old was she when you told her?
She was 5 when I told her my eye was poorly
Mm.
and the doctors needed to take it away. And she was about 10 when I told her that it was cancer.
And how did you tell her? Like, was it like just a sort of sat down conversation? Because there's so many different ways that you can tell your children. So how?
Well, she likes Moana, the film.
Mm.
So she was sat watching Moana. It drives me mad because I've watched it a million times. But she was sat watching Moana, and I kind of just snuck it into the conversation that the reason I had my eye removed was because of cancer.
Mm.
At that time, though, because I'd had it and got over it, it was kind of easier.
Yeah.
But I had to tell her because a hole had opened up in my eye because of the radiation. Apparently, it can kill the blood vessels around the area where you were radiated, and it did that unfortunately with my eye socket.
Mm. That's the thing. I remember when I went through radiotherapy, I remember someone saying it's like putting your head in a microwave, like all
Yeah,
those radiation waves and apparently they stay for like years after,
yeah.
which I have no idea. Um, so yeah, so talking of treatment then, so what treatment did you have for your cancer?
I had the eye removed and I had radiation therapy. They said that I could have chemo, but it would be like a standard chemotherapy because they didn't have one that actually work for this kind of cancer.
Mm.
So I'd have my eye removed, have radiation, and hope it had not spread.
Mm.
So I had a CT scan just before the radiation, and they couldn't find it anywhere else.
That's good.
Yeah. And then I had one last year, and it's not come back.
That's good. Do you have scans every year on a yearly basis now then?
I did have scans every year for a while, then COVID hit, and they kind of got as and when. But I had one last year because my eye moves, and they were worried it might be because I'd got a tumour growing again, but I've not.
You've not. So what fears did you have in terms of side effects from the treatment, and how did it actually affect your body?
I had no, what was I saying? I had no fears about the treatment at all.
Mm.
You know, it was just something else. I got up, I went, I'd have to set off at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd go have radiation for like 10 seconds,
Mm.
go drop the kids off at school and go to work. And I just had no fears. I just got on with the life as it was. And a few weeks after I had radiation, I woke up in the ICU, completely paralyzed because they thought the radiation had caused me to have a full MS attack. I had a tube up my nose. I don't know if you can see. I've got a scar where I had a tracheostomy. I think that tracheostomy was keeping me alive.
Really?
Because it was I couldn't breathe at that point. The machine was literally pumping air into my lungs and taking it back out. I had a tube up my nose to eat and drink from.
And how long was you in hospital for?
6 months.
Okay. That's so long. I mean,
Plus, you know, I was paralyzed. They kind of thought, well, maybe if she's paralyzed, all her body, her brain has been affected as well. So I do think a lot of maybe the last few months, it wasn't so much that I was in hospital because I needed to be there. It was because they were scared that I'd had a brain effect and my capacity wasn't there.
okay.
But then it was very hard to prove I had capacity because all the tests that I'd have would be like, oh, Emma says this and this and this, but we don't know what she would have said before.
Yeah.
And they kind of used that to keep me in for longer than I needed to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So when they came to release you, was that from you pushing, or were they then like, no, okay, she can go now?
No, that was from me pushing.
So it could have actually been in there longer then?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, blimey.
They were talking about me being in there for over a year.
Which would have just been horrific, like being away from your kids all that time. I mean, it's bad enough going through cancer, but then to have that on top as well, it's just mind-blowing. So after you then came out of hospital, when you came out of hospital, was you then like, was you well, or did you sort of still have sort of side effects?
No, not really. I couldn't walk when I first came out of hospital. I'm not so great now, but that is because my eye moves so much. The balance issue. I know you can have balance issues with MS, but because my eye moves constantly, everything around me moves. And I don't think my body can keep up. And my body's also trying to do what my eye's telling it.
Yeah.
But my eye's going round and round.
Is it just on that side then, like that your body sort of will?
No, it's
like
all my body.
all your body?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, how does that like affect your day-to-day, like day-to-day tasks?
quite a lot.
Mm.
Because even though you don't see it, my hands are really weak. I can barely write my own name anymore. I can't chop anything up because, again, my hands are that weak, but then my eye moves. So I'm not coordinated enough, and I could easily just accidentally, like, hurt myself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what support did you have going through and after all your treatment?
Not much, really. I did ring Macmillan, who are the cancer specialists in the UK. They didn't believe me at first. It was only because I said it's a subtype of a subtype of a subtype of a sarcoma, and they had sarcoma down, but they didn't have my particular cancer. So at first they didn't believe me. Because I wasn't like in a group where I had chemotherapy, I just had my eye removed and a bit of radiation. So the only time that I'd first come into contact with cancer patients was when I had radiation therapy. That was like 3 months after. So I did do a lot online, and I met a lot of people throughout the world online, and I think they helped me a lot. There was people with rare cancers, with terminal cancers, all having new and upcoming treatments, and they kind of had the same feelings and thoughts as me. You know, I wanted to be there, do whatever I could for my kids, but at the same time, I wanted to plan for if I wasn't there for my kids. So I do have a box. I say box; it's a massive trunk full of cards for every Christmas and every birthday until my kids are 30.
Oh.
Even though I've lived past some of them, I won't give. I don't want to take anything out of that box.
No.
I won't give them any of the cards. I know they've got money in because I put it there, but still, I don't want to test fate almost and open them.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
And I've got everything. There's like a notebook in there with absolutely everything, right down to my daughter's socks. And when I hide a pack, always, because she loses socks like you won't believe. So I always have a spare pack that only I know where it's hid. And I had all that wrote down in this book just in case anything did happen to me.
And that's the thing, like,
yeah,
I think sometimes people don't sort of realize just how much you really do have to think about when you're going through cancer and how many people it affects. And when you're a mum, it's not just you, it's your kids, it's everyone around you. So what did cancer, I mean, obviously it took your eye, but what did it impact the most? And like, did it change you, how you see yourself now as a woman and as a mum?
it has changed me a lot because I can't drive now because of my eye. You know, I'm physically not the same as I was. Nowhere near, in fact. As a woman, I don't think it's changed me at all. I actually quite like the look of having one eye, you know, because I don't look like other people.
Oh, yeah,
I
it's a
stand
distinctive
out
look.
now, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Possibly that's part of the positive feeling about it, but,
Yeah.
you know, I am different. I do look different. I know that and own it, but I think it's changed me a lot as a mum because I realise now how important moments are with the kids. I wouldn't change what I've been through either because
No.
I think it definitely has shown me that life is precious. You know, like a lot of my friends will be like moaning over text that their kids have made a mess and they've spent all day tidying up. And I can remember being in hospital longing for those moments where the house is a mess and, you know, my Hoover's broken down because it's that many pieces of Lego. I craved for those moments.
Yeah. That's the thing. It gives you this new perspective on life, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
definitely.
Yeah. And all those little minor things, it's like they're just minor things.
Yeah.
Like we don't need like life's too short, people. Let's just, you know,
Yeah.
go out and enjoy
I
it.
definitely think I'm less stressed about little tiny things
Yeah.
than I used to be.
Yeah.
Like, say for instance, we ran out of fairy liquid. I would have been, you know, straight down the shop before, but now I'm just like, it's not an issue. It's just
No,
fairy liquid. So
exactly.
I don't need to stress about it.
No. I find that with my kids, I now sort of like I pick my battles.
Yeah.
So it's like if they're like if my son's moaning about or something's happened, I'm like, is it really worth me getting, you know, wound up about it? I'm like, just let it go. Like
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world. So what does life look like for you now then? What have you got in the pipeline?
Well, life right now is very different to what it used to be like. I'm doing more online. I've just started TikTok shop.
Yes, you mentioned
I
this
don't know
yesterday.
if it'll, yeah, I don't know if it'll take off, but it's a bit of extra
I
money.
mean, you've made a couple of quid,
Yeah.
but that's
I think I'm up to
more than you had.
£2.48. £2.48. It's worth it to me.
It's
I'm
just
writing.
doing something, isn't it? Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I could write one about me and what I've been through, but right now, that's just, it's too much, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. So is the book is a fiction book?
Yeah, all three of them are. I used to like to write children's books,
Oh.
and I got myself an iPad with the pencil.
Hmm.
I've already wrote the books, and I was going to illustrate them myself, but then I had
Oh,
a big MS attack, and now I can't even write, let alone draw.
oh no.
So, and
Oh,
if people illustrate your own books for you, you have to pay them a fortune.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. Does your son or daughter draw?
My son does.
Oh,
So
get him to it.
I'm
Be
kind
the
of,
family project then.
yeah.
That would be cool.
My daughter she likes to think she can draw, but really she can't.
I hope she's not watching. Well, that's amazing then, having some books. I mean, it's all about raising awareness, isn't it?
Yeah.
And any way that we can raise awareness, I think, is just just amazing. But you were saying about your eye, and you said last night about how they had said that you could have an operation. Do you want to just touch on that?
Which operation?
On your eye to stop the movement?
Oh, yes. On the eye that's already still there, they do one last thing they could do to stop it rotating is an operation, but because I've only got one eye, they don't want to do that.
Mm,
They don't think Botox will work because it's the wrong. The Botox is mainly the side muscles, whereas this is
mm,
the muscle right in the back of my eye. And again, they could possibly do that, and they could do an operation and move my eye out of the way a little and then inject. But because I've only got one eye, they don't want to do anything that required me to have an operation.
yeah.
So they've tried me on all the tablets that they usually try people on, and none of them have worked. So they've just signed me, well, they're doing my certificate for partially sighted.
Okay.
So I don't know how I feel about that really, because, the next step is you're completely blind.
I mean, have they said, like, is that sort of like the way that it's potentially going then? Will the sort of the movement increase, or
They've
will it
not
just
said
stay?
because
They're
they
not
don't
saying.
know. When
Right.
I had the fulminant MS attack, they're still shocked that I survived, because usually within a few weeks you die.
Oh
So
my gosh.
everything that happens is really the unknown for them.
Yeah. You are very much a mystery, I think.
I am.
Good to be a mystery,
It is, I
though.
guess. I can always remember when I was paralysed, the doctor was sat next to me and I couldn't move, I couldn't talk. And he said, you've got more chance of winning the lottery twice than having what's happened to you. And it's a
That's the
good
thing.
job. It's a good job I couldn't talk at that point,
Yeah,
because
I was going to say.
the words in my
Lucky.
head, I was swearing at him in my head.
I mean, for me, it was cancer, and now I've got early signs of cataracts. But I'm like, that's as far as mine's gone. But you have had everything thrown at you. Like, there's literally nothing else. And for you to just still be so positive and upbeat is just remarkable. And you're just amazing.
Thank you.
Um, well, you are. So, if anyone is listening and they are now in the thick of going through their cancer battles, what would you say to them?
I say to them, stay positive and keep going. Just hold your breath until you get to the end of it, and then you can release it all. That's what I've did.
Mm,
And it's only now I'm stopping to think, wow, I had cancer. It's only now I'm realizing everything that I've been through, because I was determined to get over it.
mm,
And,
yeah,
some people aren't that lucky,
no,
but you have to at least try.
yeah, absolutely.
And
I
there's, yeah,
go on.
there's people that I know that unfortunately aren't here anymore, but they were the same. They just kept going. No
Mm,
matter what battles they came up against, they just kept going. And I think that helps. And I
yeah,
also think being strong it kind of shows all your friends and family that, if I can be strong and I'm going through this,
mm,
you can too. And
absolutely,
definitely that helps.
absolutely. And I think that's the thing. Like, I've lost people through cancer, and I think when you then do survive it, it's I feel like we have like an obligation to then sort of try and raise as much awareness and to
Yeah.
try and show people that there is hope after cancer. And you
Yeah.
have, I mean, I did a post yesterday and I was like, I'm thankful not to cancer, but I'm thankful to it showing me the strength that was inside me.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
understand what you mean.
yeah, I think it can either sort of go one way or the other. It can either really sort of get you down, or you can find the positive in it and then thrive after.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're both doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you
Thank
so much for coming on
you for
again.
having me.
Honestly, yesterday I was just like, no, where's it gone?
I don't
So
understand why it only posted 15 minutes.
I know. I just honestly technology, but yes, but thank you. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your story. You're amazing. You should be so proud of
Thank you.
what you've done, and it's just it's amazing.
Thank you
But
very much.
yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, so that's Emma's story, everyone. She's just fabulous. Go and follow her. She is Eye of the Sarcoma. Every time I hear it, read it as well, I do get Eye of the Tiger song in my head.
Yeah. Well, I did when I first thought of it, but I always wanted people to know what sarcoma meant.
Yeah.
So I thought I had the tiger, the sarcoma, because I had the sarcoma cancer. But a lot of people don't seem to realise that sarcoma.
You don't not get it?
No.
Oh no.
But it's too late to change it now.
Yeah.
So I'll just.
It's good though. I like it. It's catchy and it, you know,
It is.
it's, you know, it says what it is on the tin type thing. So yeah, absolutely. Amazing. Well, have a lovely rest of your day, Emma. Have a lovely rest of the day, everybody else. And yeah, hopefully this one actually like uploads the entire thing. So, fingers crossed.
And I look forward to your next one. Who have you got on for your next one?
So next week I have Vanessa who had skin cancer.
Oh,
So we will be sort of going through her story, and I think we're going to be covering a lot of mindset and positive mindset in that one as well.
yeah.
So should be good.
Good.
But thank you so much.
To hear it. Thank you for
Thank
having me.
you. You're welcome. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.